All righty, greetings class. Here we are, week 4 already, moving through. You know what that means? If you've got missing work, it's time to get it in. All right. Um, uh, we're more than halfway through the class. We want to step it up into high gear. If you do have any missed work that needs to be submitted, please do contact me via messaging any way you want, text, email, online Moodle message system, but let me know if you have work to submit in either regards to week 1 or week 2. You've got your week 3 assignment that is open until tonight at 11:59 p.m. CST, and any missing makeup work is due in week 5, which is next week. So let's get to it. If you want to pass this course and move on, which is what we want to do, right? So without further ado, we've got another exciting class here full of slides and talking about this week. We're going to talk a little bit about ROI. Maybe you've heard that terminology before, but that's return on investment, right? So that means, hey, I'm putting something down, I'm going to purchase equipment. And because I think that by purchasing, this is like an example, right? By purchasing equipment that's gonna make tortillas, for example, say I have I've got a cool taco stand and currently making tacos by hand, but I cannot keep up with demand. I cannot literally make enough tortillas to keep up with my order. So I'm going to invest in an automated tortilla making machine and hope that I will, in the long run, get a return on my investment. So I invest in this, equipment. Maybe it's, physical equipment. It could be technological equipment. It could be systems, right? I'm going to invest in this and then hope in the long run that I'm going to get some return on that, meaning I'll make back what I spent and plus more. All right. And usually that's in the, in profits, right? Profitability. So when we think about it in 2 different forms, right? A machine or a piece of equipment that's making more product so that I can literally sell more product, right? That's one way. Or if we look at, systems and technology, what we've been talking about, that we go into this whole other concept, which is, I'm increasing sales because I've got everybody's contact information. I'm offering incentives. I'm offering holiday parties. I'm offering catering packages. I'm offering X, Y, and Z. All of a sudden, I'm making way more money because I'm advertising to my customers in the way that they need to be. And that could only be known by analyzing data, which perhaps there's a system that I can purchase to analyze that data for me, right? So let's hop on in. I'm going to cover up week 4 assignment right now. Really simple. Pretty much the same thing that you did week 2, except you're going to switch it in the last 4 components. So I'm just going to run over that quickly, and then we're going to tap on in to this slideshow. So, all right, where are we? Here we go. All righty, we've got comparison of your ERP POS system, right? So in week 2, you use design factors, right? Design factors to evaluate those systems. Now using the remaining 4 factors, finding an ERP system, note the pros and cons of the 3 systems you're considering using for your bar and grill. And of course, we've got, so you can either use this template, right? Which is basically you're just going to free write, or as I sent out in for week 2, you got this right here as well. Week 2 and 4 templates in your instructor announcement section. Click open there, make a copy. It's pretty much the exact same thing. You already know what to do, except you've got the second 4 problems already set up for you. So this makes it super easy. Final choice. Don't forget, include the link and the final choice for why and for which POS you choose and why. All right. And that's going to round that out for us, which is great. Like I said, utilizing the spreadsheet streamlines things, make it a lot easier. You don't have to, but it's a tool that I wanted to give y'all. So let's talk about a little bit about ROI, right? Like I said, you're going to hear that thrown around constantly. ROI. Oh yeah, huge ROI. And that's really, a sales pitch as well and a sales technique. But sometimes you do get huge returns on investments. Okay. Other times it's very minimal, but it helps ease work. And so that can also be beneficial in the long run. Maybe you don't make as much of a return on your initial investment, but your work has been streamlined. And so you are less stressed. That's a win. Can't really put money on that. All righty. So let's hop on in. We're going to get on to this. We know the deal. We're hitting it in slideshow style. Get your work in. That's what that message says, that last one. All right. We're going to talk about evaluating between spending and business benefits, evaluate location alternatives for organization, as well as assessing the arguments for and against outsourcing. Okay. So let's hop on into this. And we've got your information system investment cycle right here. Okay. So this is how much this organization will spend on information systems will depend on the organization side and the type of business, right? If you're something massive, right, you've got to have a huge investment going in. Let's just think about something like, let's just look at Cheesecake Factory. Everybody knows Cheesecake Factory, right? Say you were going to implement a new information system in Cheesecake Factory because you've been using Aloha and it's time to say adios, okay? So you got to update that. Well, how many tablets are in, how many workstations, how many stations around the nation, stations internationally, et cetera, et cetera. This could be a huge, huge, huge investment, okay? Now, if you're small, you've got one establishment, not going to be as big an investment, but maybe you don't even have that backup cash to invest in there. So it is a huge investment, even though you're just one establishment, okay? So the question is, can we be sure the investment in IS will deliver more benefit than the cost, right? That's what we're talking about, right? Again, that ROI, that return on an investment, might not be huge, but if it relieves stress or creates other systems of flow, opens up different doors and opportunities in the long run, can be beneficial. All right. So select, control, and evaluate. All right. So how do you know you've selected the best projects, right? Control, what are you doing to ensure the projects will deliver the benefits projected? And evaluation, right? We always want to go back and evaluate, okay? And then we go again. Based on your evaluation, did the systems deliver what you expected? If it didn't, okay, we need to, be assessing that again. And this is really where we go into the cost benefit analysis, which is pretty huge. So when we look at those costs, right, we've been covering a lot of this past few weeks. You've got your hardware and software, your installation, environmental running and maintenance, right? Because what type of internet, high-speed internet, what type of electricity, what type of backup plans, what type of updates, how frequently do you have to get that updated, et cetera, et cetera. Security, of course, training, and then wider organizational costs as well. Now, benefits that we start to look at, your information relevance, right? Is that accurate information available to make business decisions? Are you getting that information fast, right? And functionality. Will that system do what we want it to do? Okay. What can't it do as well? Of course, reliability. Can we rely on the system to give the information we want and when we want it? All right. If we are getting that, it has benefits. All right. If it doesn't, we're seeing that it's not. Right. So now we talk about management function. All right. What needs to be managed? IT is the infrastructure, and IS is the applications that produce the information. All right. So when we get into information technology, we're looking at hardware platforms, network architecture, developmental tools, legacy systems, meaning they've been in operation previously, and your operations management. Okay. Who needs to be managed, right? And what needs to be managed in regards to this? The infrastructure and the applications that producing it, okay? For information technology, okay, as opposed to management function, we're looking at your business system development, migration and conversion strategy, database administration, user support and training, end user application development, shared devices, IT and IS, both information technology and information system staffing, right? Who's maintaining that? That takes people and payroll, right? Now, when we go into this comparison, again, we're looking at IT, the study, design, and support or management of data within the information system, okay? IT's been associated with the creation of computer systems, and IT experts, are really centered around the machines and hardware and software systems, okay? And then we get into those information systems and we talk to the whole set of information, not just the tech involved, all right, but the individual and the processes as well, okay? Obviously, information systems has existed pre-mechanical period, okay? And the IS experts are really more coordinated using technology and different frameworks to achieve business goals. So it's a different approach there versus technology versus the system and the overall product. Now, here we go. Benefits of IT outsourcing. Huge, right? Anybody ever been on a phone call and went for help and ended up being on a phone call from somebody in a country far, far away, right? IT outsourcing right there. We have seen outsourcing happening more and more, not just only in IT forms, but in many other industries as well. And some are really good. Some are, when you look at it from a company standpoint, people are looking at costs, right? So paying somebody in the United States versus paying somebody in Pakistan is going to have a different hourly rate, right? Cost of living is a lot different in those countries. So your costs, your hourly wages are going to be very different. Also, there's then the idea of taxing. You've got, we think about all these companies, right? Outsourcing is constantly this big conversation that I'm sure you see on the news. Oh, outsourcing work to China, outsourcing works to X, Y, and Z. Where's, and that's a big whole other debate of where do we then, if we're taking all of our work away from the US and we're outsourcing it when we have people living in the US without jobs, right? So what do we think about that? These are things that you also want to be analyzing and thinking about when it comes down to your personal choices, right? It's really something to consider because people have strong beliefs about outsourcing or, keeping it in-house. But the fact of the matter is when you look at your payroll and you say you're paying 100 times more, 50 times more, 20 times more, or even 2 times more, double that price, right? Let's just say it's as simple as 2 times. What are you going to do? You're looking to make profits, right? Profitability. More profits, you can scale up. So of course, places are going to say, yeah, I'm going to outsource this for lower wage. Something to think about. All right. So outsourcing, all or part of the information systems of a company are subcontracted to a third party. And that again could be who knows where. All right. Reasons to outsource: cost reduction. We talked about quality improvement, enables focus on the core business, right? We're outsourcing. So I don't even know anything about IT. I'm going to outsource because it's better to put it in another outsourced manager hand that they're going to then manage the personnel because I'm not dealing with it. I just need to know what I need to pay to keep it running and fixing because I don't, at the end of the day, I don't know about hardware and software. I know about, induction cooking and convection cooking, all right? Something like that, right? We want to be thinking about that. So it enables you to focus on the business core, all right? Reduces the risk of project failure as well, right? So here we think about benefits of those outsourcing: cost effectiveness, scalability, improved core competency, better disaster planning, better budget control, zero infrastructure cost, okay? Potentially reduce labor costs, and access to skilled resources. Why wouldn't we do that, right? Now, we think about main categories of services that can be outsourced: your hardware, your network management, system development, information system, and management of information system strategy as well, okay? Again, this is where we're looking at. You think about certain establishments. I also want you to put this into your frame of mind of thinking about what moving down the line. Say you wanted to open up your own place. are you going to be, are you tech-based? Is that your thing, right? Is it your thing that you've got these robots making food and delivering your, maybe cooks are making the food, but robots are delivering the food. You've got outdoor locker boxes. You've got a ghost kitchen. Everything is, you're ordering everything is on an app or a phone or a tablet. Nothing is face-to-face seeking. And this is kind of your, thing. All right. Maybe you're like that, right? Then you probably wouldn't want to be outsourcing that. But if you're just a regular old spot, you're just old school, not trying to make it a tech dining experience. You're just trying to have a great dining experience with great food with some tech. Then you want to be thinking about that outsource management, right? Of course, end user information services provide cost effectively, right? Help desk services, huge. Standardization of software, ensuring network efficiency, provides training, manage employee communications, and access to the internet. All the stuff that you don't want to deal with, woo, thank goodness, somebody else can take care of that, right? We learned about that in many classes. We cannot do everything, especially when we know our skill set, right? You want to make sure that you're hiring the best to do the best, okay? Do the things that you don't know how to do, right? Or that's not your strong suit, right? If your strong suit is making 5-tier cakes and not hardware testing, focus on what you know and outsource the rest. All right. So then we've got end user computing. That's the staff whose main job is to doing some systems development. Okay. And so we've got computer-based information for personnel, department, organizational, wide use where the end user is not an IT professional. Okay. Number 2, we've got end user control, which of hardware and package applications are purchased for use in department, and end user existing information systems as well. All right. Along with one type of end user development in computing is the shorter wait for system before it can be used in the organization. Users understand the requirements better than its the IFS specialists, and a lower cost than paying a third party. Pretty good, right? Now, again, we've got computer systems and platforms to allow non-programmers to create working computer applications. We've got a traditional EUC. The end user merely uses computer systems and applications created by developers. The user's department purchases packages, applications, and hardware for their use. And the user's given a set of tools that let them customize and create applications. Okay, we're getting into those comparison again. All right, so when we get into this, we're thinking about that last, those last 4, which is security. And that's going to be including how easy to set up and control for different users. All right, the stability or reliability of the product. That's early versions of products. We've talked about this have bugs. You might experience a lot of downtime, support calls. Again, that's the old joke saying never buy 0. Okay, we got to get back to this. All right. And end user existing information systems. All right. Nope, that's wrong. Sorry about that. The stability or the prospects for the long-term support of the project, right? The product. If the vendor company is small or likely to be taken over by a predator, will the product exist in 3 years? Okay. What are we looking at? What's the long time growth of that product potentially? And then extensibility. Will the product grow? Do they have features that'll be available to accommodate future needs? We're constantly seeing updates to different programs. So let's hop on back into the class page here. Again, we're going to be diving into this. You do want to make sure you're reading this, the benefits of a point of sale system, right? As well as breaking down your outsourcing and, of course, your textbook reading from this week. I did want to share with you this really cool, let me bring this up as well for a little bit more of excitement here when we're looking at operations and technology. Let me pull this up. Staying on top of trends, like I said, even though I'm not a huge techie, I am constantly following what is trending within the restaurant industry because I love food and all aspects of the food. And within that umbrella comes technology. All right. You think about even things like using something like a sous vide machine. That's using technology compared to doing a sous vide traditional style, right? Where you could be taking a bowl and poaching. You take a bag, a regular zip bag, you could put your ingredients in, and you could submerge that in a pot on a stove, right? This is like the old school sous vide version, right? As opposed to a machine and temp and all of that. So you have to constantly be on the lookout for it. You think about different gadgets. We can't be so against it because these can be really helpful. Let me show you this really cool thing where we're getting into technology trends for 2023. Just pull this up 1 second. I got to get my downloads here. All right, should be here. Yeah, this should be it. Let me see if I can pull this up. Cool. So this is what I wanted to share with you all. I think this is pretty interesting. And this is, again, this is, how I try to focus on staying on with what's going on in the industry, even though technology is not something that I am, um, you know, I don't know how to code. Okay. I don't, but I do find it all very, very, very interesting, especially again, if we're looking at how we're going to start marketing to Gen Z. What are those demands, right? If we want to be a growing, say that bar and casual grill, well, not only do we want to look at the trends from a food and drink standpoint, offering perhaps non-alcoholic beverages, more vegan or vegetarian options, right? We know that more world flavors, we know those 3 trends are right there in the market line. But also, what's the, do we need to look at the entertainment value? Do we want, or is there some game that we want to set up with this? How do we get them? So this is the 2023 Restaurant Technology Outlook. And again, I just think that this is really kind of pretty cool. So this breaks down, you can, I'm always looking at Nation's Restaurant News, NRN, the National Restaurant Association show, the show is in May, later this month. But this is what you want to go into, right? So we start to get I like visual things. I find that graphs can be really helpful. And it starts to give you an information. Okay, so this is who they questioned and interviewed. All right. So, you think about this sector, right? They might, how many units are in their operation system system wide? 27% of them are 1 through 10. 22% have 500 or more, which is insane. And then we've got another big bulk part. So we've got, 25%, close to a 50% from that 1 to 49. And this is pretty much split even. Okay. Again, we've got the demographic breaking this down. Is it a chain restaurant, quantity, how much franchise, non-commercial food service? Okay. Again, diving into this, it's just sometimes easier to see these visuals. And then we see that we've got a lot of executive C-levels who've been responding, as well as, a lot fewer on the culinary management or unit level manager. Okay. Well, we do see that we've got about 34% are full service casual dining, upscale dining, while 26% is at fast casual and 21 is at quick service. Okay. Again, going on. Key findings, budgets are tight. No surprise there, aren't they always? But they're investing anyways, all right? Integration remains a challenge. I think this is really important. End-to-end technology platform intrigues most restaurant leaders, but they realize that the new capabilities likely add to and augment their tech stack rather than replace parts of it. So it's adding to it as opposed to replacing it, okay? Operators need solutions that integrate with their current systems and can scale as their brands grow, right? This is exactly what we've been talking about, okay? Of course, customer experience is king. Curious about AI. Data is an untapped opportunity, right? This is talking about there's too much to optimize, right? Are you putting all the information that you're gathering to its best use? Then we're talking about labor, labor shortage, right? And winning the loyalty game, right? How do you improve guest frequency, satisfaction? This is can, you know, be helpful, right? Source of customer data, especially when integrated with POS systems, allowing IT and marketing to align. Right, that's the beautiful fusion. We want IT and marketing. We want data. We want ease. We want to capture our guests. I also just recently read about a whole new group. I think it's I forget. I'll have to figure out who it is, but they're doing a whole new approach to LTOs, limited time offers, that they've never done before. And usually it takes LTOs, limited time offers, to roll out like a year. They're going to try and do one every month and capture TikTok social media trends. So it's a completely different approach to marketing LTOs, which we'll see how that pans out for them. Cost and integration barriers. We've got a huge rundown here. What operators want from new tech. What are your top 3 considerations? I will say, you know, when we looked at those, you know, you're analyzing, you're going to buy a computer, you're going to buy a personal computer for school, you know, cost, functionality, integration with existing apps. Does, you know, if you get an Apple MacBook, does that integrate with your Android phone or vice versa, right? Support, data collection, and security, and then other at about 2%. All right. Now, continuing on, since cost was the main obstacle to adapting new technologies, 58% of respondents responded citing as a key concern. Okay. Not enough staff to manage and implement, 45%. Lack of integration with current system. Sometimes looking at these numbers are really staggering and important to get a better idea of, if you ever think like, wow, I'm not able to manage this. Well, same with larger change. They're not either. They're also limited by budget constraints or, you know, not enough staff to implement and manage it. All right. As you continue on, this goes into, you know, what are they investing in already? Are they still going to invest in new technology in the next 12 months? Pretty huge response said, definitely, probably, or possibly. Only 8% said no or possibly not. That's huge. All right. 96% of technology would be important to meeting key business objectives, right? That's also big time numbers, right? You don't normally see those types of numbers. That means we need this, most likely. All right. Immediate priorities, increase sales, right? Boost customer frequency. Isn't that what we're always talking about? How do you get them back in? Tracking that data, knowing the data, using the data, and offering that. I do think if you look at that NIE app that I sent out and talked about in week 2, this taps right into this. How do you increase sales, customer boost frequency? You got your market, you're right in there. It's only available to that market, a limited market, and accessible to them. That's how it is. All right. Lower operating costs, of course, reducing labor costs, et cetera, et cetera. And now, you know, helping restaurants. Remember, a lot of restaurateurs are kind of like, whoa, what is this, you know, this new whole tech game? What, this is wild, right? So, you know, how are you approaching it? How are you going to navigate that when it's maybe not necessarily in your wheelhouse? Okay. This is a digital e-commerce platform providing the best-in-class technology, innovation, and professional services suppliers. So that's pretty interesting, right? Customer experience is king. We know that, right? Is this easy to use? Performance, productivity, employee experience, business support. Can we make this easy for our customers? If they're frustrated, they're not coming back. They don't take cash. They don't take your credit card. They're not coming back. They're done. See you later. Bye-bye. There's a million other choices, right? Think about that. We are, people are constantly inundated with choices and options. So you got to make it easy and comfortable and make them want to come back. Why do certain places always have success and return customers? What are they doing differently? Early on adapters of technology, have they been more successful or less successful? Okay, targets of tech investments, right? Guest experience, always. Digital marketing and loyal programs, right up there. I mean, you've got the data, you've got the information. This is how you make it work. Offering incentives. Hey, we see you haven't been in for a while. Here's 15% off of your next order. That gets them in the door, right? You know, and then going down, you know, off-premise platforms, data management are kind of lower in those targets of tech investments. And then primary sources utilized to gather is that transaction data, your mobile app, POS, and then next up, loyalty awards, online ordering where you can track a lot, social media, email, and then driving down to 5%. We don't collect customer data. Interesting, right? Shared data from third-party vendors, customer surveys, 43%. Something to think about. All right, labor. Again, employee retention, reducing labor costs, streamlining back of the house productions, and streamlining front of the house is where we're looking at, okay, for the priorities of labor. Hopping in, tech tools that support the workforce, right? Training and onboarding, huge. Maybe they're watching videos on how to execute certain SOPs within your establishment as opposed to a person hands-on. So first you're mandated to watch videos and complete everything online. Then you go to in-person. You have to pass a test and everything's moderated online before getting into the next stage, which is going to also reduce that training and onboarding time from a one-to-one person and put it on the technology front, right? Of course, artificial intelligence is kind of the big topic. What's going to happen with AI moving forward? I don't see that it's going anywhere, but I think it's a little early to say, you know, in my general opinion, I don't know what we're looking at down the road with that. And then being that we've got a ton of data, but it's just sitting there. Most of them haven't figured out what to do it, right? Look at this. There seems to be a clear understanding among restaurant operators that customer data is an incredibly powerful tool to drive sales, frequency, and engagement, okay? Everybody's collecting it. But what do you do with it? 7 in 10 respondents questions if they are optimizing the customer data they collect. All right. 7% said definitely. That's pretty small. 20% probably, 27, 20 possibly, 31 probably not. We're looking at 42, 43, almost 50%, you know, I mean, I'm bluffing it up, but I'm saying no. Which is pretty, we're getting all of this. What are we doing with it? It's time to make it work for you, right? And then of course, innovation versus integration. Top concerns when assessing new tech tools. Get into that cost functionality. These are the same things that we're looking at in this week's assignment and week 3, right? What are those, you know, supporting troubleshooting options, integration? What are we looking at? How is that functionality going to be? All right. And satisfaction with current technology stack. All right. Not bad. Somewhat satisfied, 54%. 31 hitting it very satisfied. Fewer are not very satisfied at all. So that's pretty great. And as far as number of tech vendors, how many tech vendors do you currently work with? Look at this. Look at these numbers. All right. Really thinking about how many vendors. We talked about that streamlining, right? That's why 10 or more of the fewest numbers, because that is very complicated and a lot to deal with. Neck and neck. Right? We're looking at basically the bulk of this at 65%, far more than majority are working with no more 1 to 4. That's it. That's a good sweet spot to be aiming for. And then how integrated POS devices drive efficiencies at high volume restaurant. I think this was a really important kind of look in here and thinking about how do these tools streamline restaurant ops, okay? And what can they have, how can they impact during a business shift, okay? Restaurant staff does not need to stop taking orders because the headset battery needs to be replaced or crew members outside changing the static menu board of a POS terminal that is out because of it's waiting to be serviced. Basic things that you don't even think about, but that's what we're talking about. That would stop the flow. Oh, headset change. We've got the backup. The drive-thru is getting massive. It's peak lunchtime. Oh my gosh, this just shut down. What do we do, right? Payability, right? The appeal of AI. I'm not using AI, but would like to. 41%. Not using it and have no plans. About 27%. We'll see how that changed. POS with your drive-thru. What do you guys think about that? using AI to drive through. They're going to be talking to you. Now, if it's just computer operated, I'm already, that's something I think like, all right, I can click some buttons and I don't have to talk to anybody. If I don't want to talk to anybody, at least if I'm talking to somebody real, I'm talking to somebody real. I would rather talk to nobody and click buttons or talk to somebody real. What do you guys think? Right? So, these are also things that you want to be thinking about. Maybe it's cool to think, oh, a robot took my order, right? Or artificial intelligence took my order. There might be that thrill and trend for a while. Who knows? All right. Tech tools that operators are eyeing next. Of course, this makes total sense. Loyalty problems, BOH operations. Remember, this is what we're going to be seeing a lot, streamlining, automation. All right. Of course, POS systems, workforce scheduling, training, AI, going down, and then app development at about 18. So I wanted to share that with you because this is real. This is big time. This is where we're seeing a lot of movement happening. And that's where we're at. Do not forget to take your week 4 quiz for this week as well. You've got that quiz here. Knock it out ASAP and complete your week 4 comparison chart. Again, utilizing this for your pros and cons. You can set them up, all 3 of them. POS, you can set it all up on the same sheet. Move your sheet here. You've got POS 1, POS 2, a POS 3. Knock it out. Make sure you have a pro and con for each, and you will be all set. Let me know if you have any questions. Do reach out, and hope all is well. Bye-bye.